It is bonkers.
Bonkers? Bring it on. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome back to another video. So today we've got a little Stranger Things Season 5 update, as Jamie Campbell Bower was recently on a podcast and made some comments about what we can expect in Season 5. Before I dive into that, though, be sure to hit that like button and comment down below your predictions based on these comments. Subscribe and hit that notification bell to help reach my goal of 150,000 subscribers here on the channel. It means a lot. And if you guys want to watch movies and shows with me, Stranger Things included, you can do so on my Patreon. I've got tons of commentary tracks for every episode. You guys sync up and watch along with me. It's a blast. I also have reaction videos and exclusive live Q&A. So if you want exclusive content, my Patreon is the place to be. Your support over there truly does mean the world. All right, so Jamie Campbell Bower was recently interviewed on the I've Never Said This Before podcast, and he was asked about the final season of Stranger Things. You could tell he got a little scared, kind of like how when MCU actors are asked about a project and they're like, oh, if I say this, Kevin Feige will snipe me. Like, there's a red dot on my head because they've got me in their crosshairs. You could tell he got a little nervous, definitely laughed it off a bit, but he actually ended up giving a pretty long answer. For like 3 minutes. He just spoke about Season 5, and I'm going to play some clips from that podcast here as I sort of talk through things he was saying. So one thing that really stood out to me was he said, if you thought last season was nuts, this season is just out of control. It is bonkers.
This season is just out of control, wild. Like, it is bonkers. It really, really is.
He also went on to talk about how it was harder to track this season. Like, when he was reading through the script, he would look back and see like, oh my gosh, kind of like his mind was being blown. That's at least the vibe I was getting. Whereas with the previous season, Season 4, he said for him it was a little more straightforward.
With last year, it was easy for me to kind of track. This year, I'm like, what? Hold on. Wait, what?
If he said that about Season 5, I cannot imagine what they have in store, because Season 4 was really complex. Like in the Massacre at Hawkins lab, you've got Nancy under a trance from Vecna, all while Eleven is having this flashback through the Nina Project where she's talking to Henry, and it was really layered. So I imagine in this final season, the lore of the Upside Down will fully unravel. I imagine we'll see all the nuts and bolts of inside the Duffer Brothers' brains to see how they conceived this idea, and I think it'll allow us to actually understand what's going on with the Upside Down, questions we've been asking since Season 1. He also mentions the play, aka The First Shadow, talking about how it was neat to see Henry before Season 4, and said that lots of questions were actually answered for him by watching the play.
And I think that it's been really interesting as well to have the play on in London, which I went to go and see, which goes back to Henry before we met him in Season 4.
I myself have actually read into the play. I haven't had the ability to see it, and I still, call me delusional if you will, still believe that it will somehow make its way to Netflix with like a fully crystal clear version where everyone can watch it, not just those who can only make it out to West End and watch it in London. So I'm aware of what he's referencing when he's talking about this, because huge revelations are made with Henry Creel's backstory, but also Henry Creel's relationship with certain characters. I won't say too much if you don't want to get spoiled, but my girlfriend Cam actually has a video diving into the play. I will put a link up above. But his comments here got me thinking, will there actually be flashbacks to the events of Stranger Things: The First Shadow in Season 5 of Stranger Things? Because like I mentioned, the play is not accessible to all audiences. A very select few are actually going to get to watch that in person. If you think about it, it's only available over in London, basically like Broadway here in New York City. So not everyone's going to have the ability to get out there and watch this play in person. If what actually happens in that play is as important as they're saying and as important as it seems when I read a synopsis, it's almost like a required viewing. That's why I've made the argument and firmly do believe that it's going to drop on Netflix. But regardless, are they just going to say, hey, we know not everyone can watch the play, so why don't we take some of the most important plot points, key details, and reveals from the play and film them for Season 5, inserting them as flashbacks? They're no stranger to flashbacks in Stranger Things. We got tons of Henry Creel backstory through Victor Creel's POV in Season 4, so I imagine all the big tidbits that are introduced in The First Shadow can be covered via flashback. They get Raphael Luce to come back and play young Henry Creel just like he did in Season 4. I'm sure he'd be more than willing to, and that could sort of take care of itself there. Jamie Campbell Bower also said that the level of detail in Season 5 is even more than it was in Season 4.
And just the level of detail, and this year is no exception to that. In fact, I'd say this year is ultimately, there's even more level of detail going in.
Which I didn't know was humanly possible, because they really got down to the nitty-gritty of it all in Season 4, with them going back through all 3 previous seasons and making sure things line up with Vecna, for example, how he was speaking through Billy in Season Season 3, Episode 6, E Pluribus Unum. There's just so much attention to detail already. I can't imagine what they have in store in this final season. My mind goes to those Will Byers flashbacks that have been hinted at through Ross Dufford's Instagram, though I imagine they have something cooked up for us that's going to recontextualize everything we thought we knew about Will Byers, and hopefully answer the burning question of why Will? Why was Will Byers taken in that first episode? On the podcast, Jamie Campbell Bower was also asked about the filming schedule, specifically how much do they have left to shoot, and he says they've got a good bit more to shoot, which lines up with the timeline we've been told that it will likely end filming in January of 2025, which is only a few months away if you really think about it.
We've got a bit more to go through. We've done a lot of filming, but we do have a lot more to go. We're going to be kind of locked down for some time.
Again, topic for another time here, but if we're talking release date schedule, I still firmly believe that most of the season will drop, if not all of it, in 2025 next year. But what is bonkers? What is he referring to that's just bonkers in this final season of Stranger Things? I've jotted down a few ideas for what could be classified as bonkers in the context of this show. The first, obviously, is there could be some more huge reveals changing what we thought we knew, specifically regarding the Will Byers flashbacks and his role in the Upside Down. A theory I've had for a while and I've talked about in plenty of past videos is maybe Will has some connection to Vecna that we as the audience don't know until we watch this final season, and Will's memory was wiped, and so the opening of the show, the cold open, could just be Will and his time in the Upside Down and a relationship with Vecna that we did not know about until season 5. Another thing that could be bonkers is introducing even more creatures from the Upside Down. We've got the Demodog, the Demobat, the Demogorgon, Vecna, the Mind Flayer. Could we get even more demos? Like a demo snake, a demo gator, a demo rabbit. I mean, I'm just throwing stuff out right now, but a demo tiger would be pretty sick. Plus Hawkins, go Tigers. Come on, that would be dope. But when I think bonkers, I mean, we've seen the set pictures of military vehicles, and we've been saying for months and months, years damn near now, that there's going to be a very heavy military presence in season 5 of Stranger Things, and so bonkers could be all-out war in downtown Hawkins. You've got tanks and army vehicles and soldiers alongside Eleven going up against Vecna and his army of creatures from the Upside Down. Sidebar, the VFX workload is going to be nuts in this final season. That's my biggest fear with the actual release date, because they're going to be done filming in January, like almost certainly. But how long is it going to take to do that VFX work? Because it was a lot. In season 4, we saw how impressive it was too. I'm fine with them taking their time to make it look perfect. But when it comes to bonkers, the word I keep repeating here, time travel is probably about as bonkers as you can get. Do they actually commit to time travel? Well, like I've said before, Ross Dufford's Instagram posts have had so many hints at that it's no longer a coincidence. From the Wrinkle in Time book cover to the Nancy Drew book cover referencing clocks, along with countless other little hints, little seeds that have been planted, it seems like that might just be the case. I've gone back and forth on this time travel concept for like over a year now. I have an old video on it, I want to say, here on the channel, but the more I think about it, the more I don't think it'll be a conventional time travel, like we gotta hit 88 miles an hour in the DeLorean and we can go back in time if we set the date. It's gonna be more so like something we see in Loki, where characters are like slipping through time or going back through the Upside Down, using the Upside Down itself as the time machine as opposed to them building some device that transports them back in time, say like something in Avengers Endgame. I think time travel is about as bonkers as it gets for Stranger Things. But all that to say, Stranger Things Season 5 filming rages on. It started in January, it's already June. In the blink of an eye, half the year is gone. The back half of this year is gonna fly by, and before we know it, production for Season 5 will be complete. I still remember 1 year ago, last summer, when it felt like there was no light at the end of the tunnel. I literally said to myself, we might not see Stranger Things 5 till 2027 at this rate, because the actors and writer strikes were ongoing, and it was just really bleak at that time. However, I sit here a year later and I go, wow. In the moment, things can feel like forever, but when you look back, everything really flies by. But that'll do it for this update video. Before I get out of here, I want to mention that Jamie Campbell Bower is actually coming to a Comic-Con in Georgia, not just anywhere in Georgia, Jackson, Georgia, which is the real-life downtown Hawkins setting where they film. And there's a little convention called the Upside Down Con, put on by Epic Cons, October 19th and 20th of this year, and I will be there both days. Very excited. They've got lots of celebs going, from Millie Bobby Brown to Joe Keery, even Gaten Matarazzo, who plays Dustin. There's other celebs going as well, listed on the website, but Jamie Campbell Bower just recently got released, so you already know I'm going to be there, and I'm going to get my Vecna pop signed. As you can see right here, I've got 2 of them. I might get them both signed, but I'm leaning the Henry pop sign where he's got his hand sticking out. Either way, Jamie Campbell Bower coming to the Upside Down Con. I'll be there, have some very fun, exciting things planned that I can't say too much about yet, but It's going to be awesome. So if you guys are at the Upside Down Con October 19th or 20th in Jackson, Georgia, and you see me, come say hello. I'd love to meet you, talk Stranger Things. You guys know the drill, but that'll do it. Thank you guys, as always, for watching. If you want to watch Stranger Things with me, Patreon is the place to be. I've got tons of exclusive content over there, from reaction videos to commentary tracks to live Q&As. Really have been growing that community lately, and I would love for you guys to join. But that will do it for this video. Until next time, I'll see you on the other side of the Upside Down.